In early January 2024, the world turned its attention to a federal courthouse in New York. A judicial order, long anticipated, led to the unsealing of hundreds of pages of documents related to the infamous sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, these records had been shrouded in secrecy, fueling speculation and a collective demand for transparency. The release was not just a legal formality, it was a moment many believed would shed crucial light on one of the most disturbing criminal enterprises of our time, promising to reveal names and details previously hidden from public view. Jeffrey Epstein, a financier with a mysteriously acquired fortune and connections to the global elite, built a sprawling criminal enterprise centered on the sexual abuse and trafficking of underage girls. His network spanned continents, from his private island in the Caribbean to luxury residences in New York, Paris, and Palm Beach. Despite multiple arrests and convictions, the full scope of his operation, and the identities of those who may have facilitated or participated in it, remained largely unknown. His death in a federal prison in 2019 only intensified the public's hunger for answers, leaving many questions unresolved. The documents in question stem primarily from a 2015 civil defamation lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell. Giuffre, one of Epstein's most vocal accusers, alleged that Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate, facilitated her abuse and trafficked her to powerful men. During the discovery phase of this lawsuit, a trove of depositions, witness statements, and affidavits were collected. These became the very documents that would later be sought by the public, believed to contain explosive information about Epstein's extensive network and the mechanisms of his abuse. Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of media mogul Robert Maxwell, was far more than just an associate to Epstein. Prosecutors and victims described her as Epstein's madam, a key enabler who allegedly recruited and groomed underage girls for him. Her intimate involvement in Epstein's life and crimes meant that she was privy to the innermost workings of his operation and the identities of many involved. The lawsuit against her directly probed these connections, making the documents from her case particularly significant in understanding the full scope of Epstein's depravity and his circle. For years, these critical documents remained under seal, protected by court orders that cited privacy concerns for those named within. However, media organizations, victim advocates, and public interest groups relentlessly pushed for their release, arguing that the public's right to know, especially concerning such a high-profile case of abuse, outweighed privacy considerations. This legal battle was protracted, involving numerous appeals and motions. The desire for transparency intensified following Epstein's death, as many felt that accountability could only be achieved through full disclosure. The pivotal moment arrived with a ruling from U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska. She ordered that nearly 200 documents, containing roughly 1,000 pages, be unsealed. Her decision stipulated that the names of individuals who had already been identified in prior court proceedings or news reports, or those who could not be considered victims, would be made public. This order acknowledged the immense public interest in the case and aimed to strike a balance between individual privacy and the imperative for comprehensive disclosure, marking a significant victory for transparency advocates. As the documents trickled out, the internet exploded with analysis. The first batch of names revealed individuals connected to Epstein in various capacities. These included alleged victims, witnesses who had testified in court, and former employees of Epstein and Maxwell. While many names had already surfaced in previous reports, the documents provided direct judicial confirmation of their involvement or knowledge. The public reaction was immediate and intense, as people combed through the files, searching for answers and a deeper understanding of Epstein's network. Among the most harrowing revelations were the detailed testimonies from Epstein's victims. Their accounts, previously redacted or hidden, laid bare the horrific reality of the abuse they endured. These sworn statements described the methods of recruitment, the coercion, the locations of the abuse, and the identities of those present or involved. The documents underscored the bravery of these survivors, who had to relive their trauma in legal settings to seek justice, providing undeniable evidence of Epstein's pervasive and systematic exploitation. Beyond the victims, the documents also contained testimonies from individuals who had worked for Epstein or had been in his orbit. These witnesses provided crucial insights into his operations, shedding light on the logistics of his trafficking, the elaborate cover-ups, and the methods used to silence accusers. Their accounts painted a picture of a carefully constructed criminal enterprise, protected by wealth and influence, and meticulously designed to exploit and evade justice. These testimonies are vital for understanding the mechanisms behind Epstein's long reign of terror. A significant point of public fascination revolved around the John Does and Jane Does mentioned in the original lawsuit. These were placeholder names for individuals whose identities were sealed. The unsealing order meant that some of these Does would finally be identified. It's crucial to distinguish between different categories. Does could be alleged co-conspirators, individuals who were present at Epstein's properties, or even other victims whose privacy was initially protected. The documents clarified who was who, dispelling some rumors while confirming others, and providing context for each individual's connection to the case. The Epstein documents reinforced the disturbing reality of his vast network of influence. They hinted at connections to prominent figures across politics, finance, arts, and royalty. While the documents primarily emerged from a civil case against Maxwell, they inevitably touched upon individuals who associated with Epstein. The revelations suggested a world where wealth and power shielded deeply troubling behavior, allowing Epstein to operate with apparent impunity for decades. Understanding this network is critical to comprehending how his crimes remained largely unchecked for so long. While not the primary focus of the Jeffrey Maxwell lawsuit, some documents offered glimpses into Epstein's financial dealings and the resources he commanded. These details, though often fragmented, underscore how his immense wealth facilitated his lifestyle of abuse and enabled him to maintain his network of associates and properties. Money was not just a means to an end, it was a tool for control, bribery, and silencing. The papers provided hints about how he funded his private jets and elaborate residences, all central to his criminal enterprise. The release of the documents triggered an unprecedented wave of media scrutiny and public reaction. News outlets worldwide dedicated extensive coverage to analyzing the files, cross-referencing names, and dissecting the implications. Social media platforms became a hub for citizen journalism, with individuals poring over pages, often leading to rapid, sometimes speculative, conclusions. This collective effort highlighted the public's deep-seated desire for justice and accountability, but also the challenges of interpreting complex legal documents in a highly charged environment. A critical aspect of the document release was the careful distinction between different categories of individuals named. Not everyone mentioned was an alleged wrongdoer. Some were identified as victims, others as witnesses, and still others as individuals who merely had some peripheral connection to Epstein or Maxwell, perhaps unaware of the criminal activities. The court and media tried to emphasize this distinction, recognizing the severe implications of mislabeling. It was a complex task, ensuring that the transparency sought did not inadvertently inflict further harm on innocent parties or survivors. For the survivors of Epstein's abuse, the unsealing of these documents was a moment laden with mixed emotions. While many championed the increased transparency as a step towards justice, others faced the renewed trauma of public discussion surrounding their deeply personal experiences. The documents validated their long-held claims, confirming the systemic nature of the abuse and the widespread complicity. Yet, the public airing of such painful details also brought intense scrutiny, highlighting the ongoing challenges faced by those seeking healing and closure. Despite the magnitude of the document release, many questions continue to loom large. The documents, while extensive, are primarily a snapshot from a civil lawsuit and do not represent a complete government investigation into every facet of Epstein's life. The full extent of his alleged co-conspirators remains debated, and the circumstances surrounding his death continue to fuel speculation. The unsealed files offer critical pieces of the puzzle, but they are not the entire picture, leaving many to wonder what other secrets remain hidden. The unsealed documents gain significant context when viewed through the lens of Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal trial. In December 2021, Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking, confirming her pivotal role in Epstein's scheme. The documents unsealed in 2024 were largely distinct from the criminal trial evidence but often referenced individuals and events that came up during her proceedings. They serve as a powerful complement, reinforcing the narrative established by the prosecution and victims during her conviction. While public attention naturally gravitated towards the names revealed in the documents, it's essential to look beyond individual identities to understand the systemic failures that allowed Epstein to thrive. The records hint at a culture of complicity, where powerful individuals and institutions either turned a blind eye or actively participated in enabling his crimes. The focus should not solely be on who was named, but on how such a network could operate for so long, and what safeguards failed. This systemic perspective is crucial for preventing future abuses. The unsealing of the Epstein documents is not an endpoint, but another significant chapter in the enduring quest for justice. For the survivors, every new piece of information is a step towards holding those responsible accountable. For the public, it is a stark reminder of the hidden darkness that can exist within the highest echelons of society. The release fuels ongoing investigations and strengthens the resolve to ensure that no one, regardless of their wealth or influence, is above the law. The fight for true accountability continues, with renewed vigor. The legal battle to unseal these documents may set important precedents for future cases involving powerful individuals and allegations of abuse. The court's decision to prioritize public interest over certain privacy claims reflects an evolving legal landscape, where the need for transparency, especially in matters of systemic crime, is increasingly recognized. This could pave the way for more open judicial processes in similar high-profile cases, potentially offering greater avenues for victims to achieve justice and for the public to scrutinize the powerful. At its core, the unsealing of the Epstein documents reaffirms the fundamental principle of the public's right to know. In a democratic society, transparency in legal proceedings, particularly those involving matters of profound public concern, is vital. It enables informed discourse, fosters accountability, and helps prevent future abuses of power. While the details are often gruesome and deeply disturbing, the access to these records is a testament to the power of persistent advocacy and the importance of a free press in holding institutions and individuals to account. This latest unsealing isn't the first time documents related to Epstein have been made public. Previous releases, often in smaller batches, offered tantalizing glimpses into his operations. What distinguishes this particular release is its sheer volume and the direct judicial order to unseal names. Earlier documents sometimes contained heavy redactions, leaving much to speculation. This time, the commitment to transparency was more explicit, although some information, particularly concerning victim privacy, remained appropriately protected, reflecting a refined approach to disclosure. While Epstein is deceased, his vast estate continues to be a subject of legal wrangling, particularly concerning victim compensation. The documents, while not directly about the estate's distribution, provide critical background that strengthens victims' claims. The sheer scale of the alleged abuse outlined in these documents underscores the profound moral and legal obligation to provide restitution. The legal proceedings surrounding his assets are a separate but related battle, aiming to ensure that survivors receive some measure of financial justice after years of profound suffering. Epstein's operations were not confined to the United States. His residences in Paris, his private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and his extensive international travel underscore the global reach of his criminal enterprise. The documents often reference individuals and events spanning multiple countries, suggesting a broader, international network. This aspect complicates investigations and legal pursuits, requiring cooperation across jurisdictions. The full international scope of his activities is still being pieced together, but these documents contribute significantly to that understanding. Understanding the Epstein documents requires grappling with the often dense and formal language of legal proceedings. They are not narrative accounts but rather evidentiary submissions, affidavits, and deposition transcripts. This means they are often filled with jargon, cross-references, and procedural details that can be challenging for the layperson to interpret. It highlights the crucial role of legal analysts and investigative journalists in translating these complex records into accessible information for the public, ensuring the revelations are understood accurately. The unsealed documents are distinct from the notorious Black Book or Little Black Book that circulated in the media years ago. While the Black Book contained a list of names and contact details, often with cryptic notes, the newly released documents are formal legal records, sworn testimonies, and court filings. They carry far greater legal weight and provide detailed, first-hand accounts under oath, rather than just a contact list. This distinction is vital for accurate public understanding of the evidence against Epstein and his associates. In the vacuum of information that preceded the unsealing, numerous conspiracy theories flourished around Epstein's activities and his death. While the documents provide concrete facts, they also invariably become fodder for further interpretation, sometimes feeding into existing narratives. It's crucial for the public and media to critically evaluate the information presented, separating substantiated facts from unfounded speculation. The documents provide a valuable tool for grounding discussions in evidence, even as complex theories persist around untouched areas of the case. The unsealing of these documents is unlikely to be the final word on the Jeffrey Epstein saga. Law enforcement agencies, both in the U.S. and internationally, continued their investigations into potential co-conspirators and facilitators of Epstein's crimes. The newly revealed information serves as potential leads in corroborating evidence for ongoing and future cases. It signals that the pursuit of justice, even years after Epstein's death, remains a priority for authorities and a demand from the public. More arrests and charges could still emerge. Beyond the immediate goal of accountability for Epstein's crimes, the revelations from these documents contribute to a broader societal effort to prevent similar abuses in the future. They highlight the vulnerabilities exploited by predators operating within networks of power and privilege. By understanding the mechanisms of such exploitation, societies can better develop safeguards, strengthen child protection laws, and empower potential victims. This ongoing learning process is vital to creating a safer world and ensuring that the lessons from this dark chapter are never forgotten. The story of the Epstein documents also implicitly highlights the critical role of whistleblowers and brave individuals who come forward. Many of the initial revelations about Epstein came from those who dared to speak out, often at great personal risk. Their courage laid the groundwork for the legal actions that ultimately led to the unsealing of these files. This case serves as a powerful reminder of how individual bravery, combined with tenacious legal and journalistic pursuit, can chip away at powerful, secretive networks, eventually bringing truth to light. The unsealing process, while appearing as a cold legal procedure, is profoundly human at its core. It's about victims seeking justice, journalists seeking truth, and a public demanding accountability. Each page, each name, represents a fragment of a complex human story, often filled with unimaginable pain. The legal system, for all its imperfections, is the arena where these stories are fought over, dissected, and eventually, sometimes, brought into the light. This process reminds us of the profound impact of legal decisions on real lives. The Epstein documents serve as a sobering lesson about the intersection of wealth, power, and crime. They highlight the urgent need for robust legal frameworks, vigilant media, and an informed public willing to challenge authority. The fight for justice in this case is far from over, but the unsealing has undeniably shifted the landscape. It offers a renewed commitment to preventing such atrocities from ever happening again and holding everyone, without exception, accountable for their actions. The future depends on learning from these painful truths. For many survivors, the unsealing of these documents, with its affirmation of their experiences, represents a significant step towards collective healing. While the pain of their past can never be erased, the public acknowledgement and judicial validation of their truth offer a measure of solace. It's a testament to their resilience and unwavering pursuit of justice. The transparency fostered by these releases can contribute to a societal healing, ensuring that such abuses are confronted, condemned, and remembered, so they are never allowed to happen again. Ultimately, the story of the Epstein documents is a powerful demonstration of the impact of information. The ability to access, scrutinize, and disseminate these records has transformed a secretive saga into a public reckoning. It underscores that truth, however deeply buried, can eventually surface, especially when persistent efforts are made to uncover it. In an age of digital information and global connectivity, the power of collective knowledge and shared facts becomes an indispensable tool in the fight for justice and societal accountability. As we conclude our examination of the Jeffrey Epstein documents, the message is clear: eternal vigilance is the price of freedom and justice. The release of these files is a victory for transparency, but it is not the final chapter. It's a reminder that the pursuit of truth and accountability for the most vulnerable among us must be relentless. May these documents serve not just as a historical record of depravity, but as a perpetual call to action for every individual, institution, and society to uphold justice and protect the innocent.